Hello, everybody. Welcome to Boss Rush at Night, E3 2021, Night 2 of E3 coverage. I'm your host, Corey Derrigan, alongside me tonight is the host of Arsenal X, the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
Also joining us is the head of Boss Rush Entertainment, Justin Bieber's illegitimate.
Come on, again, 2 nights.
Adopted cousin.
Come on.
At least he's consistent.
At least he's consistent, but he's consistently bad.
I'm just going to keep adding words. Look, now you're not only Justin Bieber's cousin, you're now illegitimate and adopted. So.
Well, I'm adopted in real life, too, so that works.
Oh, cool. Congratulations. Everybody needs love. Also, also joining us, the up and coming YouTube star from Block's Games Reviews. He also writes for Boss Rush Network. Block. Hi, Block.
Star is going way too far.
No, dude, I watched your YouTube channel the other night for 3 hours while I was editing stuff. I
don't know if I have 3 hours of content, but thank you.
No, you do. I filled 3 hours. It was like 2:45, but still.
Now see.
I watched all of your Trash or Treasure videos. I watched most of your RPG reviews, and I started watching the horror ones, and I'm like, no, I'm out. I don't do horror.
He got too scared.
I don't do spooky.
Grabbed by the goalies.
Although the first one I watched was Costume Quest, so I mean,
yeah. Thank you.
Last but not least, the only one of us that isn't a scary white dude. We have from our writing team, also an award-winning author, I'm told, Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi, Stephanie.
Making sure that I bring diversity to the group.
Yes. Good job. Good job.
Gotta check that box. We're okay on that front. I'm so.
I don't know. I got kind of a sunburn today. That's diverse from my normal pasty pale white self. So
this is never going to air. Let's just acknowledge that now. This is never going to air.
Oh, we're live. It's airing right now.
Can't take it back.
People are watching. People are. I don't know if they're laughing or cringing or somewhere in between. I don't know.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Pat from EXP Cast is in the chat. Hi, Pat. C. Waller, 2010. I don't know who that is, but he's making fun of Logan, so I'm fine. Logan, you're muted, by the way.
He was holding in.
Yeah, I was holding in, man. I was making you savor.
He was self-muting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was self-muting this time. Compared to the normal, you know?
Let everyone else talk for him.
Corey's like Tony Reali on Around the Horn, and it's just a constant mute on mine.
Mm-hmm. So. I'll do that. I'm also the guy on what was the show? PTI, who will read your mistakes at the end of the show.
Again, Tony Reali.
That's the same guy.
It is. You're right. Never mind. Wow. Look, man, it's been a while since I watched ESPN. So
2000s ESPN, dude.
I don't know. Sorry, I did watch the Stuart Scott Michael Jordan flu game highlight the other night. That was pretty good. Rest in peace, Stuart Scott. What a great guy. Anyways, we're not here to talk about sports. We're here to talk about the official start of E3 was today. Man, dude, when I woke up this morning, that Twitter chat was on fire because of Mario Rabbids. I was like, I woke up, I rolled over, and I just like checked my phone, and all of a sudden, I saw it on Twitter. I'm like, the official Nintendo site opened the Mario Rabbids portal or whatever, and I was like, oh my gosh! And I was like, I put it in the chat because I knew I had to get my kids ready first. And I'm like, somebody write this. I can get to it in like an hour if somebody can. And then like, an hour later, I'm sitting there furiously typing with one kid in one arm and the other one is, on the ground trying to say she doesn't want to eat. And I'm just typing with one hand, like, gotta get this up. So that was that was the start of E3. So
Parenting at its finest.
I know, man. It's like
Well, he doesn't tell you that his children are 17 and 23.
oh
so
god, that'd be
that makes that story even better.
God, I wish one would be out and one would be on their way out. I'm just kidding. I like my kids on, certain times of day, like when they're sleeping. I'm just kidding. No, we started a little late because we did have a crisis. My child fell and cut her leg on her closet, so that was fun. She's fine though.
It worked
She's
out,
fine.
though.
She's a tough kid. She walked it off.
It builds character.
Yeah.
Took a salt tablet and just
Yeah.
go on.
Yep. So, but how did everybody feel about day one of E3 overall before we kind of dive into the Ubisoft conference? Because I feel like that was the biggest thing that happened today, and some people would argue that was the only thing that happened today, but it was pretty big. There was a lot of stuff shown. A lot of interesting, cool, new stuff.
Ubisoft was consistently good. I liked it. Like, the show was, a few pacing issues, but overall they showed stuff I cared about. And the end of the Ubisoft conference made the whole thing a lot better for me. Riders Republic was cool, but getting Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, I'm in.
So
I'm
that's
hooked.
the Division team, right? Making
Yeah, it's Division team working on Frontiers of Pandora. Yeah.
Right. So that's like an open. I'm assuming it's open world. It's current gen only. They confirmed. So this game is going to be, no pun intended, massive. Right.
Josh and I were also talking. It's like it might be part of the Inquisition team as well, because they aren't known to be working on anything major, and we know part of that team did get secluded to do something else. And there's elements like in that trailer. I was like, there were parts of it, especially with the creature design, that was like, man, that looks exactly like Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it was cool though. I'm way more interested in that game than I am the 900 sequels that are in development for the movie.
Right.
But yeah, they showed a lot of FarCry. That season pass looks interesting. Revisiting the villains, also FarCry Blood Dragon HD remastered or whatever they're calling it that's a win. That's a win right there. That's worth the season pass. So, no new Assassin's Creed. Oh, sorry, Jesse. I know you're a big Far Cry guy.
Yeah, I've played all of them, but honestly, I know a lot of people didn't like 5, but 5 today is still by far my favorite. I'm also not super. I don't care too much about story stuff. All, in my opinion, all their stories are pretty weird and crazy in some way. And I just kind of liked the setting of these just, crazy people that are a cult, cult people. I just found all of it hilarious. And then when they started mixing in the the drug stuff and the mystical kind of weird, just making it even weirder. I just absolutely loved all of it. I just was completely in for it. So I tried going back and playing 4 again after playing 5, and I just everything gameplay wise was improved in 5. So I'm excited to see what they kept as far as the mechanics of 5 and what they improved on, and if it's like the last games, it seems like every game they kind of improved and got better with each one. So yeah. I'm just really looking forward to see what they did to improve on the last one, even though I thought it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I will say is, for the Far Cry franchise, that's just personally not my, type of game that I get into. I think it's like a first-person shooter. But, I did cover it today, and when I was watching that extended cinematic trailer, I don't know if we'll get more into that later, But man, did it want me to get invested in this franchise, and that I think that says something if it wants to attract people that don't usually play that genre or whatever. Like, I love the villain. I have a thing with villains. If they can create a good villain, that's it. Take my money. I will get the gold edition with the season pass. I'm invested. So.
Yeah, and I mean, that this seems like the story is going to be way more important to the game than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know people enjoy the story, right? But this seems like it's taken to a whole nother level. I was actually way more interested in this than 5, and 4 got me interested a little bit, but I never got it. 3 was okay, right? But I know like 3 and 4 are people's favorites. 5, people can go either way on it. I feel like, Jesse, I know you liked it a lot, but this really was like, man, they want you to be invested in not just this character, but the villain and, what's going on. Obviously, it's some sort of, Cuban, what do you call it? Like not a metaphor. I can't think of the word. I'm real dumb right now. But it just looks really cool. It got me invested in a franchise that I'm not invested in. And I think that's a good, a good win for whoever's doing PR in this game, whoever cut the trailer for this game. It was cool. So,
and isn't this a continuation of 4?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's
like
take place
at least part of the
4.
story does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because 4 is kind of takes place in the same area, but this is supposed to be a continuation because like most people love 4. Like that's most people's favorite.
It's it's definitely mine.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I do appreciate it. From a story point, 4 is probably the best one. For if you're care a lot about what kind of story is being told. But like for me, I just when I play these kind of games, it's my chance to just do whatever I feel like and just not care about like in 5, man, like I had this, like one of the most fun times I had playing that game is I was just fishing and then I got into a boat and I hit something just perfectly that I launched the boat through the air and just crashed it right into a whole bunch of bad guys and just took a whole bunch of them right out with the boat. And just crazy nonsense like that's why I love those kind of open world games or sandbox games. It's just doing whatever I feel like and not caring about the story. And I think that's kind of why Breath of the Wild it hooked me so much, is just because like there's no like particular way that you really have to play that game, and sometimes I prefer that. And I feel like the FarCry games have kind of always been where there's just so much going on that you can just kind of do things however you feel like, and I love that in an open world game.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah. We'll get into this run of the show in a second, but it's also not a Ubisoft show without a Just Dance game being announced. And I was like kind of watching it because we were getting ready to go to a party tonight, and so I was kind of watching it while I was like in the bathroom getting ready and whatever. And like all of a sudden I just hear like this weird song going on. I'm like, what is happening? Like usually it's like some like, I don't know, club mix of like Lady Gaga or something. I'm like, what is happening on this stream? And I'm like, oh man, another Just Dance. Just Dance. No Wii version this year, guys.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Set your clock to that. There's a Just Dance game coming out from Ubisoft every year.
Do you guys remember that? Now that's what you call music or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Aren't they on like 734 now or something?
Do you think this will be like the video game version of it? Because it just seems like they're just
already is.
It's been that way for years.
And let me tell you, the only reason why I have Just Dance 2021 is because I have friends who have like teenage daughters, and like the only way to like kind of get them to like hang out and chill or whatever is, I don't know, they're really into it. So I ended up buying it, and I don't know. I tried once because I'm like, all right, I gotta not look like a fool in front of these teenagers, so I'm gonna practice a song or two. I'm pretty sure I injured myself. It was so hard. I couldn't dance, couldn't keep up. Damn. I mean, it's not my game, but I could say I tried it.
Wow. That's
well,
funny.
I'll tell you what. I'll let people in on the secret. I feel like this is the same for almost most kids. You might as well just put it on YouTube, because my kids played it a whole 2 times and they've never touched it, and they would rather just watch the songs on YouTube. Honestly, it's one of those games where if all the kid really wants to do is hear the music, we'll just play the videos of someone who played it on YouTube, and it's and if you want to, you can still dance to it, because they're showing everything that's on the screen. You essentially can do. I mean, you don't have the controller or whatever, but who cares? Then you're not getting yelled at that you're not doing good or whatever anyway. So
getting yelled.
No, but that's very true. I mean, my Just Dance 2021 got used once, and I really am just curious to know if they really do that well in sales. Also, when you buy the game, you only get an X number of songs, and I hated almost all the songs, maybe one from the weekend I liked. And so I tried their free trial of the full library. So I'm like, why would I want to pay a subscription to have access to all these songs? So, but I guess that's how they make their money, right?
Yeah. Because that's pretty steep too. It wasn't. It wasn't that cheap for that, wasn't it?
$60. It's always been a $60 game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a game.
No,
I know they're doing this. I know they're
for the service.
Do they have a service? Is that what
It
we're
was
talking
a
about?
season pass, wasn't it?
Oh.
And it was $30.
Oh.
You had to pay something. I thought a month.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, and it's for life. It's if you want those songs that are in the library, you got to continually pay that monthly fee.
Gross.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I thought. I mean, at least that's what I thought it was.
Yep, it is. It's called Ubisoft Just Dance Unlimited, and you can pay day, month, year. But for example, it's $30 a year, just so you can have access to the full catalog. Yeah.
Got to make that money somehow.
Yeah.
My wife has a family of friends that she goes to visit every now and then, and they don't play games at all. But I went over there just as the pandemic was ending. It's the first time we'd seen them in a year, and we go in, and their teenage daughters are dancing to Just Dance on the Wii, and it was Just Dance 19. So they keep putting these out on the Wii, so I had to look it up. I was like, why are they coming out to the Wii? And apparently Ubisoft has continuously donated Wiis to hospitals and retirement homes and stuff like that with copies of Just Dance, and they do it every year. And so up until I think 19 was the last one, they keep putting out the Wiis with the Just Dance copies, which I think is, at least that's a good thing, is getting people who are maybe in recovery trying to get some mobile again, or in retirement homes or something like that, maybe schools.
I don't know. Some of those dances are pretty intense.
Right. See grandma
throwing a
getting
hip
down
out.
to some of those.
It was twerking.
I don't know. Yeah, there's some pretty hip grandmas out there.
Grandma popping her booty to something.
Well, it looks like we know what the title of this episode is called. Grandma's popping her booty.
You know who's had hip replacement surgeries at that nursing home?
Yeah.
Man,
I'm just saying.
So besides Ubisoft, Gearbox went today. A little bit more on Tiny Tina, and they went behind the scenes on the movie, which, Kevin Hart not giving Randy Pitchford a high five was pretty hilarious. But
that was
God, dude, he tries so hard, and he's just just go away, man. I'm sorry. Tiny Tina looks amazing, but Randy Pitchford needs to go away.
I like how he kept saying, oh, this movie's going to be great. It's going to be great. We haven't seen anything from the movie.
Now, do you
I
think
don't know
do you think
what
it's-
anybody looks like in costume. I don't know if they're going to have, the art style of the movie yet. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah. Do you think
we're
he's gonna
already,
like it? Do you think he's gonna like this movie more or less than the porn he had on that thumb drive he lost?
Probably less, because from that porn he learned something.
Yeah, and it was magical.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's never.
Grandma
He's
popping
never
her
gonna learn
booty.
that.
it was.
That was the name of the porno.
So I thought it was Mario hose.
Oh, jeez. And then Devolver Digital had their,
God.
weird thing. I guess we can start with them. Did they show anything worth noting? I didn't get to watch it. They usually have something weird, or just they're just kind of weird. Like last year, didn't they have that digital show floor thing where you could play it for free through Steam and you could unlock things for them?
Which they're pretty much doing again, yeah.
Are they? Okay.
They're a weird company.
Phantom Abyss coming to Steam early access on June 22nd. That was really the only thing. I mean, I suffered through that 30 minutes, and it was a tough 30 minutes. That was really the only thing that stood out to me. I mean, the rest of it was chili dogs and weird jokes about the industry.
I don't know. I like chili dogs. They're
What
good.
you're saying, it's better than the Ubisoft pre-show.
Come
I
on.
don't even think so.
I don't
The
know.
chili dogs that they were eating looked super dry, so no.
No, that's disappointing.
See, yeah, I mean, there's like I haven't I didn't watch the actual thing, but like I've just seen bits and pieces of some of the games. Like I did kind of like the look of that Trek to Yumi or whatever. But and they're like, I don't know, like cause see, the thing is like a lot of the times I actually look more forward to seeing some of the more the indie games and stuff like that, because like to this day, like Rhyme is still like one of my all-time favorite games. Like I've played that.
Go ahead.
What was? Oh, I was just gonna say that I've played that game like multiple times, to this day, and I just love that game, and there's nothing like, breathtaking or whatever about it. It's just like the way the art style is, and I mean like the music in it, like is probably, it's still one of my favorite soundtracks, but like just the way that the music tells the narration, and there's no words, no narration, no nothing. And the music, like I look for that kind of stuff, and you're not gonna find that in the big title, big games that are getting all this money thrown at them. You're just not gonna get that. So I do like watching, it's a lot of this kind of stuff, and looking for a good indie game that's gonna just do something that nothing else is, and that's usually the only place you're gonna find that thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's why, I wasn't totally crushed, but I really had my hopes up for a couple of those, and another one's Annapurna. I'm sure they'll talk more about maybe what they had on the Indie Direct, but for Devolver, I mean, I think Devolver's the one that put out Gree and Katana Zero, and way back then Hotline Miami. So I was like, let's get something fresh and new and exciting, but I guess not this year.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the pandemic had to do with that, and then like them saying, we're Devolver, we have to do something weird this year because we're Devolver. Do we really have anything to show? And then they just, did this. Something tells me that this year feels like a year where people feel like they have to do something, even though like all their stuff's being delayed.
Do you think that hurts their brand more than?
I think a lot of people are getting a pass just because everybody knows what happened the last year and a half. Like it's just, the state of the world, everybody getting back on their feet, and like E3 coming back and people showing off games feels like a little bit more like another step towards normalcy. So there's that.
What if they did this next year?
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
they did the same thing next year, it's almost like what we say about Bethesda, although not on that level because obviously Bethesda's a way bigger company. But it's like Bethesda, that first E3 they did, it was really awesome, and they showed a lot, and it was concise. They showed a lot of great big things, and they're like, yeah, we're coming back next year. And then the next like 2 years, they didn't show anything worth noting. It was like, well. You showed DLC for Wolfenstein. You showed this free Quake game that nobody played. You know, like, okay, yeah, you have this Elder Scrolls Blades game, like, you know, and they felt like they had to do something, and everybody brings that up every year, right? And it's like, well, next year if they do that, maybe we could have this conversation again. But I don't know. It could potentially hurt a brand, but not to the extent of like, oh, geez, they're doing one of these again. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how many
it's-
Nintendo Directs have we watched where, like, do they need a full Direct for that? Or could they have just done, like, the Paper Mario thing where they just released a trailer for this and was like, well, neat. So.
Yeah, like, because, you know, and I think that's the thing is, like, at least for me, like, I judge, like, you know, how well, like, a thing is depending on, like, for me, I think what's more important is just having, like, different stuff that's going to appeal to multiple people. Because, like, you know, like, I mean, every time that I watch a Nintendo one and they show another, you know, whole hour of what new characters are coming to Smash, I don't care about that game at all. But, you know, like, I can see, though, that if I'm someone who loves that game,
yeah,
like, it's cool how in depth they get, you know, talking about that stuff.
They did get away
people
from
like that.
They
but
did get away from showing that in the bigger directs, though. They've usually been like, here's the reveal of the character. If you want to watch this, we're doing another direct specifically on this character, right? Remember the year it was revealed, they spent like 40 minutes of like a 80-minute direct on Smash and like characters and how they play, and it's like nobody cares about this except for like 3% of your audience, like, and I think they took that feedback to heart, and that's why they started doing that. But
yeah,
so,
but it's I mean, that's cool for the people who love that stuff. But you know, and like I said, that's not really, in my opinion, gonna, you know, make it a bad thing, you know, and overall. But
yeah. All right. Well, we can get into Ubisoft if you want, because this is pretty much going to be the bulk of our show now, right? I mean, we didn't talk about Gearbox, and we talked a little bit about Devolver. So Ubisoft had their big Ubisoft Forward. I was actually quite surprised in a good way with their event today. I really liked a lot of the things that I didn't think I was going to like. Like we talked about FarCry at the top of the show. Looked great. Riders Republic surprisingly gave me those SSX vibes, you know? Like, I just like, man, I've really wanted a new SSX game for a long time. And Riders Republic, and I know Steep is on Game Pass right now, so and it's by that team, so I might try Steep to see if Riders Republic is going to be worth it. I know they're different games, but the gist of the game is there, so I kind of want to try it out. But let's talk about this pre-show. I've been hearing a lot of things about this pre-show.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Yes, we have to talk about how I don't know if the audio was just the way I was streaming it, but, you know, I think one of the big things we want to just address the elephant in the room is that those weird, like, screensaver, like, intros while we were waiting in between sections where it's just visuals of someone riding a horse or driving a car or a drone.
Riding a drone.
Yep. Almost hitting a building, and a plane that sounded like a wet fart, you know, stuff like that.
Man, the only two things I saw for the pre-show were Ed texted me like super early, and he's like, Ninja Turtles are coming to Brawlhalla. I'm like, cool. What's Brawlhalla? He's like, it's that Ubisoft game. I'm like, clearly, because this is the Ubisoft show.
He's so descriptive.
I know.
Be nice to him, okay? We picked him apart yesterday.
I
too
know,
much.
dude. This pre-show snack chat was just, man. I asked him about the chili dog or the Chicago style hot dog thing last night, and he's like, sometimes you just want a good hot dog. I'm like, okay, I don't. Then we talked about 1,000 other things because I think side tangent next weekend. Him and I are going to do a lot of rewatches and watch-alongs, I think, just because he's missing all this because he has to work. So, and anybody's welcome to join us if you want. But, yeah, I saw the Ninja Turtles thing. I'm like, they look good. Like, I liked the reveal, very 80s, 90s cartoon reveal, which is what I got from that side-scrolling beat-em-up that's coming out soon, too. Why are the Turtles getting crossovers with everything right now, by the way?
Yeah.
It's like, it's
Money.
awesome, but I'm like, make a damn Ninja Turtles game.
Yeah.
Give me a good, open world, a Metroid-style Turtles game.
So I think part of it, though, is that they are trying to get another Ninja Turtles movie funded. Nobody
did.
wants
It's
to fund
coming.
them.
It's coming to Netflix. Seth Rogen is producing it and writing it.
Wait,
For
Right.
real?
Mm-hmm.
but then they're even wanting to do another animated series, too.
Yeah, because the last one they did was terrible.
So to get that, though, they're trying to build more value into the brand.
Yeah, I know Seth Rogen is doing a Turtles. I don't remember if it's a movie or a show. That's geared more.
Leave it.
It's geared more towards people our age who watched it when you were little, but have the adult sensibilities of like, oh, Michelangelo's a stoner. He's probably gonna smoke weed in this. I don't know.
He's making a CG animated reboot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Oh.
That should be
Coming out next year, or coming out in 2 years on August 11th.
Great.
I feel like we're seeing like a whole slew of more TV show really crossover from games versus all the really crappy movies we've been getting over the years. So hopefully we can see a better transition from games to cinema or however you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's because Hollywood doesn't necessarily know how to take on video games. I mean, The Witcher's been the first real series that's kind of like opened the doors as of late. But then, Mythic Quest is the #1 show on Apple TV Plus, outbeating some seriously good shows that Oscar M. Night Shyamalan had some stuff on it, and yet Mythic Quest beat that. I think people want more of that binge mentality of give me something that I can watch on a weekly basis. I mean, the MCU's been trying it, and it's been working wonders for Disney Plus. So, I mean, it's a good model to go after, and it's an untapped market. I mean, it's a shame that we don't have a Zelda show yet.
Oh, my heart.
So, okay, another side tangent. Here we go, guys. Zelda show. I have a great idea for a Zelda show, and it does not involve Link at all. I think it should revolve around...
You talked about this the other day. What did we talk about this
It should revolve around the politics and betrayal of Princess Zelda and the king and Ganon and his thief army or whatever. It'd be very I guess...
Game of Thronesy?
Yeah, but I haven't watched Game of Thrones, so I don't know really. But
he's one of those people.
I am. You know what, Logan? Just because you said it like that, I'm going to tell you that I'm proud to be one of those people.
Well, and if anyone read my thing, I've got a good idea for a Mario movie.
It's the politics of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah.
And the betrayal
Corey,
of Princess Peach with the king. And Bowser's army and all of that.
Auditor 450 with the comment of the night. So Zelda with incest?
Link could be your brother. You don't know.
Who would you want to play Zelda? Give me an actor or an actress.
Gilbert Gottfried.
It's so I said.
On that note, though, Jeff Goldblum as Ganon.
Ooh.
That could be cool.
Because
I always thought,
first,
honestly, Dave Bautista would make a good...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking in terms of the way Nintendo is going, if they ever did one, how they would want it to go. It would be, kind of kid friendly, and like if you add it, like they would add some sort of comedy to it. It wouldn't be the show that we would want it to be, right? It would just, but Jeff Goldblum could be like this really weird version of Ganon who thinks he's funny and becomes a meme, and that kind of thing.
Did you see my thing, Corey, that I had posted about the Mario movie?
I did not.
I was just joking. You guys were, I think it was you guys were talking about, movies, like about the Mario movie on one of the shows. Mm-hmm. I think it was Boss Rush. And that I had made this whole thing up that, like, in another universe, Seth Rogen made the Mario movie, and it was him, and he played Mario, and then it was
I remember you saying this.
Yeah. And that the whole movie was them like tripping on mushrooms, and they had to beat their alternate, their dark side, their evil side of them, which is Wario and Waluigi. Yeah. And I think that would actually be a kind of like an actual adult like Mario movie would be kind of funny.
Yeah. I don't know. To answer your question though, Logan, who would have played Zelda? I don't know who I would want to play Zelda, but for some reason I see like Amanda Seyfried playing Zelda for some reason.
Oh my gosh, I was just thinking that. I'm no lie. I was like, who's that person from Mean Girls?
Yeah.
I was thinking about Kinsey Davis. She would be a really good one too. She was in That Awkward Moment. I'm looking through her IMDb right now. She was in, what was that one this past fall with Kristen Stewart?
the lesbian Christmas movie.
Yeah,
that movie was really good. That came off way worse than it was supposed to.
Did I Google that lesbian Christmas movie?
I mean
it'll probably
would come up.
Make sure Safe Search is on.
No, that takes the fun out of it.
Oh gosh.
She would be really cool because there's a couple of good options there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go. There's a lot of good actresses out there that that could probably.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Who?
Olivia Rodrigo.
Who the heck is that?
While he's looking that up, you know who else is a ginger that I think would make a good Ganondorf? Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, he would be awesome.
What about Michael Rosenbaum?
Well,
as what? Is like a comedy version of Ganon?
Yeah, comedy version. Yeah.
All right, so hopefully Nintendo was listening to this.
Yes, Nintendo and Netflix, you can have that one for free. All we want you to do is say that your show is sponsored by this show. We'll give it to you for free. Yep. I'll send you assets. Yep. Logan can do a thing. I don't know. He has a good voice for promotion. I don't know.
There's always Willem Dafoe.
God.
As Ganondorf.
I feel like he would play the king.
That's typecasting Willem Dafoe at this point.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Anyways, Ubisoft pre-show.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what.
Well, that pre-show. You didn't watch it, right, Corey?
No, the only two things I saw were the Ninja Turtles thing, which I don't know if that was part of the pre-show or just some kind of weird thing beforehand.
No, and then that was part of the pre-show.
I saw like 3 minutes of Eivor riding a horse in the snow, and I was like,
"Well, you watched the pre-show then."
Oh, cool.
So the way it was set up is baffling to me. You have a whole hour scheduled, and so they'll have like, here's a 2-minute PR piece of like, hey, we're Ubisoft, we're doing cool things, and then we're going to show literal 5 minutes of a character and For Honor walking slowly, nothing happening. You're watching leaves fall, maybe someone on a horse ride spot, nothing. Then that'll go out and you have a 2-minute trailer for something, Brawlhalla. And now you're going to watch someone riding a drone slowly. Nothing happening for 5 whole minutes. And then it's going to cut to like another 2-minute trailer. And now you're going to watch a plane fly through the air for 5 minutes slowly.
No exaggeration. Block is describing it perfectly, by the way.
Nothing happening. You know, and what was also really baffling to us was a lot of the content we found out has already been on their YouTube channel for weeks.
Yeah.
And so they had this accessibility thing, which was pretty cool. It was nice. It was, you know, we're trying to make our games more accessible to people. You can, you know, change the font. You can change like the cursors in a game. You can make the map look a little bit different. And we're all for that. It's great. And then they're like, go to our YouTube channel to view this video. It's the one thing that they're like, we're being accessible. Just go find it somewhere on the internet. We don't give you the link. Go find it on YouTube. They don't say our YouTube. They don't say any. It's just go find it on YouTube.
No
And so
keyword.
we go looking for it on YouTube. And we're like, okay, there's the For Honor thing. There's the Brawlhalla thing. There's nothing for accessibility. It's there from like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But it's so... Like, did they have to do that for a pre-show? Could they have just cut out like 10 minutes of actual content and tacked it on to the other hour that they had? And then I could have spent the other 50 minutes playing an actual game. You know, so that's the pre-show.
And Logan said it, like, it was like a pacing issue, I feel, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, historically, though, Ubisoft's always kind of struggled with pacing.
Yeah.
I mean...
Since they got rid of Aisha Tyler, their pacing has been bad.
Exactly.
The thing is when you've got games like Siege and, you know, there's still people out there playing a lot of their games and streaming it, I feel like they could literally like just go and, you know, like post streamers playing their games or something, like anything, like just, you know, something in between, like something that's actually worth, you know, like that's entertaining, or, you know, someone actually doing something in between, you know.
And I pointed out when we were watching it, there's a part where one of the drones, a woman riding a drone, and it comes dangerously close to hitting a building, and it doesn't. And so that tells me that somebody at some point programmed that whole video. Like, it's not just some random video, like, oh, okay. Like, someone sat down and made the route that they fly through, and then watched it. And they were like, this is good. I'm getting a paycheck.
We're good.
To do this. And
hey,
then
Tom, you got that? You got that drone shot? Yeah, got it.
We came so close.
We're using it. Using it.
We came so close to hitting that building.
Like, it was so close. Like, that would have made my day. It would have made the whole hour worth it.
They could have.
They hit the building and they crashed, and something would have happened.
Maybe Snowdrop has destructibility now, and they fly the drone into the building, and it just, you know, breaks the window or something.
That would have been a day one purchase for me. I don't just saying that. What also hurt though, that's E3 gets kicked off. Like, E3 started, and every year it's like, oh, E3, we're so excited, and so no matter what it is, it's the first thing. So, like, we're all excited. We're hungry for games. We're hungry for something. And then they start out with that.
Yeah.
Of, like, For Honor and drones just slowly moving. It lit out the air of this balloon of excitement.
Yeah.
That when the actual show started, I'm still reeling from, like, this boring ass thing that I just watched.
Like, they could have put like they showed the Ninja Turtles thing, which was cool, but then they could have moved like the new season of Siege in there for players to watch, right? Like, things that already exist out there that they're adding stuff to. Like they could have, like the pre-show could have been Ninja Turtles, it could have been the new season of Siege, and it could have been the Assassin's Creed DLC. And then they could have moved into the show, and you know, like you could have done the Siege new season of Siege and the new operator, and then you could have transitioned into the main show into Extraction, right? I think that would have been like a really good transition, except for like I don't understand why you didn't put the two Rainbow Six things together. Like as a producer, I feel like that's something you should know is like, hey, you know, we're going to transition from Extraction into the new operator, or show, you know what I mean? Or like do the operator first and then show the new operator in Extraction, because they're using the same operators from Siege, right? That's like the idea.
Yeah.
But see, like I don't blame Ubisoft too much for this one. This is a weird year. Like normally, the pre-show they would have the different developers talking about those moments. So if we're introducing the Ninja Turtles into Brawlhalla, we have 10 minutes about, hey, this is everything you're going to be able to play with this. Here's why we're doing this now. Here's the inspiration behind it. And so, I mean, this year I'm not going to blame Ubisoft for it. And I also think that they thought, and this is kind of how I was too, is that you're not going to get a majority of your audience watching the pre-show. A lot of people are going to tune in at 1:55 or whatever it is in your time zone, and they're going to watch the main show at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought this was one of their better shows in recent years. You know, outside of the pre-show, like I thought the pacing was okay, except for I felt like the Extraction stuff was a little long, but I understand it's like really the only new game that they're showing besides Mario Rabbids, right?
It's one of their biggest money makers as well. And with esports continuing to grow, you need to be able to showcase that stuff so that tournaments can plan for later in the year.
Yeah. All right. So
one thing sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, if I could say one more thing about the pre-show, and unfortunately it was probably like halfway through it, right, Block, or at some point much later, so it took a while. I did like how they did present 3 indie titles. I don't think I'll play them, but I'm big on indie games, and the first one I didn't even know how to pronounce. It's called Dorf Romantic.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
that is.
I don't.
Dorf Romantic. It's like kind of like a build your own environment, but it's meant to be like a puzzle as well. So they claim it's relaxing. I would probably get stressed out because I'm very competitive, but it looks cool. I might not buy it, but it looks cool. Another one was Bravery Network Online. That's a turn-based battle strategy game. Then the last one, I'm not sure if I'll end up actually buying it, but I think it was hilarious. It's called You Suck at Parking.
Yeah, that looks hilarious.
I really wish someone from Boston, from where I am, with a thick Boston accent to talk about this game.
Oh, this is so funny.
You drive around, you park your car, you suck at parking. But, yeah.
It reminded me of this. I've not played it, but I've had it from PlayStation Plus for years. This game, Roundabout. You seen that? It's like a car that's just spinning around repeatedly, and you're trying to navigate the streets. It's what it reminded me of. But
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think Dorf Romantic, unless they showed a new one, I think that's already that game. I thought that game came out like last year already.
It's
on years ago.
A partial release, and then they're planning on a full release with adding Switch and adding mobile.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was like, God, I've heard about that a long time ago, but that makes sense, because now that you mentioned, I think it was like one of those early access type kind of thing. But.
Yeah, I it's always good to see these bigger companies kind of push some indies. You know, it's sometimes you get so overwhelmed by these big, huge AAA games, right, that these companies kind of forget about the little guys. EA's been pretty good about doing this too. So, say what you want about EA and their FIFA card packs and their, Star Wars garbage, but they do pretty good with the indie side of things. So,
yeah.
Well, speaking of kicking things off, 54 minutes into the show, Ubisoft opened with Rainbow Six Extraction, which is previously Rainbow Six Quarantine. They changed the name because of, I think pretty obvious reasons. An alien force has infected parts of the United States, and they're sending in the operatives to go in and clear out the infection and, save some of the other operators and stuff. So, Jesse, I'm going to kick it over to you because I know that you're pretty excited for this. What do you think? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I liked what I seen. I like kind of how they really change up the gameplay. Because at first I was worried that it was just gonna be like similar to the demo type, I guess, like limited time thing that they had come out.
It's confirmed that this is a sequel to that.
Yeah,
so that's cool, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I got from it what I was hoping. I was hoping that it was gonna just be more than, just basically the game, running in a different way, but nothing really added to it. Mm-hmm. And I liked that you kind of, they're adding new equipment and new things, and that you kind of work towards unlocking, mm-hmm. And upgrading and stuff like that. I really liked that kind of stuff that they were showing off. And honestly, just the bad guys or the aliens or whatever you want to call them, I thought it looked really cool too. It looked good, and I'm really super excited for Back 4 Blood, but I think I might actually try this game out, and it might be that thing that gets me back into Siege. Mm-hmm. Playing that kind of stuff in that world, because it's hard playing that by myself. I don't always, like playing the regular Siege. And I don't really, there's no one else that really plays it anymore that I play with or whatever. But I do go back into it, and I think this would be something that would be a little bit more fun, to play. And who knows, maybe some of, if someone else ends up getting it or whatever, we could always do like a boss rush type thing and play some. But yeah, I'm excited. It looked pretty good to me, and like I said, I was excited to see that it's a little bit more than just feeling like a game tooled in a different way. It felt like it was an actual new different kind of game.
Yeah. This looks like something I could get into with you. Like the Siege is mm-hmm. like this really, obviously I'm not the hardcore multiplayer guy, I mean, mm-hmm. When I talk about Destiny, I never talk about the PvP stuff. It's always like the raids mm-hmm. and the strikes, or like the events and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's this seems like that side of Rainbow Six that I would like to play. So mm-hmm. I will actually probably try it and pick it up and play it.
So, yeah, more objective based.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Resistance because of the alien infection and the sci-fi weaponry and stuff. But the one thing that I couldn't help but think, it's like, is this what Tom Clancy wanted all along mm-hmm. when he made Rainbow Six? He said, they're gonna fight aliens mm-hmm. here. We got to build up to it, but they're gonna fight aliens.
I mean, you could have said that when they released Ghost Recon Breakpoint, where they're like, "Oh, you're a guy who's fighting, Facebook and technology on a remote island in the middle of nowhere against the Punisher." So, whatever.
Well, and then there's going to be the sequel game to Hunt for Red October, where it's on like Venus.
Yeah.
Right. Where?
Yeah.
That's a joke. That game's not coming out.
I mean, it did look like it had some cool elements from Prey in there too. I mean,
I got some
with how the
alien. There.
Yeah, it looked cool. I'm definitely in.
Yeah, the way the infection spread across the 4, especially, had some real big Prey vibes to it.
Yeah, those dark visuals, that alien dark visuals, kind of really, I thought, works well with that world and stuff, because like, I mean, for the most part, like, you know, regular Siege is just pretty, like, standard, like,
I don't
you
know.
know,
Some
like,
of those operators have some real G.I. Joe feel to them,
yeah,
especially the
which
later
is fine.
season ones.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, I mean, you know, like, it is kind of cool, but a lot of the ones that people just are like, okay, this is kind of stupid.
Mhm.
People just vote out anyways that you're not able to use them
Yeah.
in that round, which is fine. You know, like, I am all for you know, player based decision of what operators don't get used or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Anybody else have anything to say about Rainbow Six before we move on? Seems cool. It's out in September, I think. So.
Yep.
All right. So after that, they showed off that Rocksmith Plus subscription. I actually thought they were
Love this.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought they were going to be done with Rocksmith just because, like, obviously the Guitar Hero phase is over, and Rocksmith was trying to do something different in that space a long time ago, and I knew they were still releasing kind of weird DLC and stuff for certain versions of the game. But this is cool. This is really unique and different, and I applaud Ubisoft for sticking with it and actually providing something that's, you know, useful and educational and will probably do a lot better in this sort of environment than I think they planned with the original games. Especially because, like, you can use your own instruments and all you have to do is plug it into your cell phone or a USB port on a console or whatever, and I think it's really neat.
Imagine if they do what they've done with Just Dance, and do that with Rocksmith Plus, and not putting it into nursing homes or something. But I mean, maybe. But you know, to putting it in schools, putting it into, you know, instrument stores or something, marketing it to the right people. Because I don't think that just marketing it to gamers is all that they need to do. I don't think that would work. You would have to market, because it's a device that appeals to many people outside of gaming, and it really straddles that line of it's not really a video game, you know. It's interactive entertainment more than any kind of gaming. Yeah.
I mean, the timing of this, Corey, I agree with you where, you know, you said you didn't think that this was going to keep going. And I don't think it was until COVID hit, because once COVID hit, a lot of these mom and pop music shops went out of business.
Right.
And a lot of places where you would go to send your kid to learn guitar lessons just don't exist. Fender had created a Fender Play demo, which is really cool. And I've been using it to relearn guitar. But, like, this is, I think, a little bit more interactive. And I think this is a great tool. The fact that you can do bass and guitar, and again, you're using your phone as the mic. So many more apps are doing that, and it's a genius technology. I mean, Guitar Band, you can use your phone now as an amplifier and have all your effects and all this cool stuff. I mean, this is 100% a win for Ubisoft. It just needs to be priced correctly.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is $12.99 or less. If it's there, awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, this subscription can't be any more than like $15 a month, right? Like, I feel like that's high, but I feel like, you know, especially with all the stuff you can do in it, like, I mean, not only can you learn how to play, but veterans can, like, remix certain songs and add certain, you know, they can do really interesting things with existing songs, and I think that's really cool too.
Well, and you can get active feedback too. That's my one issue with Fender Play, is that I don't know if I'm hitting the string exactly the way I should be. So if I need to make a correction early on in the process to stop a bad habit from becoming a major problem, like that alone sets Rocksmith up above anything else that's on the market right now.
Right.
And you can use acoustic. You don't have to use an electric guitar and plug it in and have all of that. You can just pick up what you have and go for it.
It is going to be interesting to me to see how they incorporate bass, because bass is a really tricky one to do based off an iPhone or Android mic. I mean, the mics are great, that's awesome, but bass has such a low frequency of volume that's like, unless you're plugged into an amp, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, but I feel like people who are veterans and really, really get into the nitty gritty after, you know, the first couple weeks. I mean, it's like I'm going to use podcasting as an example, right? The first time I podcast, I talked into like my webcam mic and, you know, whatever. And then you just keep getting new equipment, better equipment. You change the way you do certain things. And like maybe when people really get into this, they invest in different equipment or different setups or different, you know, things to plug your stuff into and listen. And maybe that's the route they're aiming for.
Because I mean, personally, I don't think that's the way that it's marketed. Because I mean, I think that this
no. You want to make it. You want to make it market. You want to market it to be like this is the easiest possible way to learn guitar if you have one already, right? But like
this is your parents don't have to buy you anything additional. Go for it. Here's the app. Pay for the subscription and go.
Yeah, it's cool. So Rocksmith Plus coming.
Huge plus.
When they say this was coming.
So you have a private beta starting like next week, and then hopefully full release either late August, early September.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, that was a longer conversation I thought we were going to have on Rocksmith. The next
it's a cool idea, though.
It is. It's a really cool idea. So
we can just cut the Mario Rabbids discussion then. It's cool.
No, because I want to talk about Riders Republic.
Oh, heck yes.
Riders Republic, it looks like a game that I didn't know I wanted, and now that I watched this trailer, I'm just like, man, if I can just sit on my couch and fly down a mountain or, you know, crash into trees or I don't know. It looks like it looks like that FarCry game that came out, but instead of guns they gave everybody snowmobiles and gang gliders.
Yeah, see, this is the game I was talking about before we started.
Mm-hmm.
Before we started the podcast that I had seen that I was half paying attention to, but yeah, this game looks so awesome.
Yeah,
it's like because like I love the oh crap, what are they called now? The side-scrolling games.
What, Ollie Ollie?
No, the one with the motorcycles and stuff where you're right. It's like side scrolling or whatever, and you've got the tracks that you're going through, and you got to try to stay upright.
Like Excite Bike?
No.
I'm lost now.
Just move on. I can't think of it right now. But
yeah, this game looks really cool. I knew that they had some interesting. I knew they had something interesting with Steep, right? The Steep looked really interesting, mechanically good, but there wasn't like anything that made you be like, man, I want to do this, right? And I think adding this weird kind of extra thing to it, I think it's cool. I think Riders Republic is the evolution of SSX that I think maybe I want, right? Because we were talking about that a little bit earlier, where I've been wanting an SSX game for a long time, and this might be a step in that direction. So, Pat says Trials. Was it Trials?
Yeah, Trials.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like
I was
that
trying
game.
to think so hard on what that was.
Yeah, it's like Trials, but like done in like the in the 3D versus a side, like more of a side scrolling, which I'm all in. I love the Trials games. Like I got so addicted to those games where I would just play them for hours.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I'm not into extreme sports, but that's a game that I would play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Logan?
Okay, I tested Steep back in 2014. I've been kind of quietly doing Riders Republic 2. They brought most of us back for a closed beta about 6 weeks ago. This game is insane. This game is absolutely awesome. I love that they took a lot of the feedback that we had back when Steep came out and changed it up for Riders Republic. Instead of having like these realistic characters, you get a little bit more of a cartoonish style with an unbelievably breathtaking landscape. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed with how this world looks. And then they created a lot more features and ramps and grinds that are developer made and not just part of the natural landscape. And I think that's a huge thing, because like one of my biggest critiques of Steep is that there's not a set path you have to go on. And if you just venture on your own, there's a lot of big hills where you'll just die. And there's like, well, hey, a little bit more guidance there of, hey, this is kind of the direction you need to go if you want to pull off these awesome tricks. This game is going to be absolutely awesome. I can't wait to play the full game and see how Trick Attack looked awesome, that new game mode. I can't wait to dive into that.
Yeah, I just can't wait to be the Sherpa or whatever that is riding that bike on the mountain.
There's so many customization. Like, there's a panda suit you can wear. There's like
I want the
this
little
game is,
ice cream bicycle.
Yeah,
there's
this
one with
game
a
just
poop
looks
emoji
so
that you
fun.
can ride down.
That's,
There you go.
My daughter got me a poop emoji pillow sitting on my chair over there.
Oh.
She thinks it's hilarious.
That's how that's how you show true love right there.
I gave my son that poop emoji plushie, and he still has it around.
I mean,
That's awesome.
it's a fan favorite. It's
Yeah.
it's gonna be sticking
I
around.
won a poop emoji hat at a carnival, and I gave it to my nephew. So
One of the other takeaways I had here was, did you guys see that little part where they didn't go in depth about it, but it looked cool, where you can race. It looked like about 30, 40 people at the same time. I was like, dude, I'm so in for that.
Is this
That
like
looks
is this
awesome.
like a extreme sports version of a battle royale where like you have to, maybe this is where like road rash or whatever comes in and you're like hitting people with chains on snowmobiles and stuff.
I'm in. I'm
I
in.
love the Road Rash.
God,
Road Rash
I-
99 has to happen at some point.
remember that
Yeah,
terrible
there you go.
Remember that terrible version that came out, like it was called like Road Redemption or something a couple years ago,
Yeah,
and
that
it was like
was-
supposed to be a road rash game, and it was really bad.
It sucks. It's
Yeah.
so bad. I got it. It's so bad.
Yeah. Man, good times. Riders Republic, that comes out. When does that come out, Logan?
September 2nd.
If only we had an awesome writing team that probably posted the release date at some point somewhere on
I
here.
think I did write an article about it.
You
Yeah.
did. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find it. By the way, anything we talk about here tonight, you'll be able to watch the breakouts in the articles that our writing team did an awesome job covering the shows today. So
You know what else? You know what else? That
everybody
game
except
kinda
Jesse, good job today.
You know what else that kind of reminds me of too is like Wreckfest, like the you know, like it takes like that kind of that fun, like just like craziness of like that game, but yet it's still like, you know, it feels realistic and looks nice, but yet at the same time it's just, yeah, like you said, going for that goofy, like comical almost style. Like, yeah, because like Wreckfest, I love that game so much.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Jesse, I don't know. Do you want to talk about the new operator for Siege, or do we just want to move on to?
We can move on. Because I kind of seen it, but it's like I kind of was like I was only half paying attention to that.
Yeah.
You know, like, because I'm excited, but I usually end up, I'll be honest, I learn about the new operators when I fire the game up and read or watch the video things that they usually have when the new operators come out or when they are coming out. A lot of the times they do a really good job of kind of teasing new stuff and all that. So
yeah. All right.
But,
so after that, I kind of got. I kind of stopped paying attention in the middle of this. I know that Assassin's Creed is getting this new DLC, which that's what that game needs is more game, right? You know, not enough game in that 120-hour action RPG. So that's coming. Which this coming from somebody who bought all the DLC for Odyssey and played about 90 hours of it. So. Whoops.
I was gonna say, how many hours have you sunk into Destiny 2, buddy? I mean, there's people who are
probably close to 2,500 hours since it launched. So, shut up, Logan. Okay. How many hours have you sunk into High School Musical, Logan?
I have no regrets.
No regrets. The Crew 2 is getting an expansion, which is called, what was it called, Jesse? You brought it up earlier. The Ridge or something.
Oh yeah, the Ridge. I think it was called.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we got a lot of montage announcements. They talked about the Ubisoft movie and TV stuff that's coming. The Werewolf Within movie that they're doing looks funny enough. Mythic Quest Season 2 is coming.
It's already going. It's almost finished.
So there's that.
Splinter Cell.
Yeah, Splinter Cell. Dude, by the way, when they did the 20th anniversary of Ghost Recon thing, and they just showed like a 2-second image of Sam Fisher, anybody else kind of die inside a little bit? Just kind of like,
just a little bit.
Yeah, just kind of like, man, Splinter Cell.
Just give us an actual game.
They're not. Yeah, I feel like they're not going to. It makes me sad.
They're just gonna keep on putting. He'll also probably be in Mario Rabbids, the second one again.
Yeah,
he was in the first one.
Yeah,
or his goggles and stuff.
Yeah,
his goggles would
be cool. Yeah. What if somebody turns into Sam Fisher? Which
a rabid Sam Fisher?
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna skip Just Dance. We talked about Just Dance. I don't think anybody really. Unless somebody's really into Just Dance, we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Anybody want to talk about that anymore? Because
we talked enough about it.
Yeah, we talked enough about it. The game
I basically told people not to buy it.
Yeah,
just watch it on YouTube.
Buy it and dance your hearts out, okay? Don't listen to these other people. Okay?
We're gonna skip this Far Cry 6 DLC for a second here. We're gonna talk about Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope coming to Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Next year. Oh my gosh. I've never been so excited in my life.
Legit my favorite Mario game. It was the first Mario Rabbids.
It looks so good.
I love that game.
And I'm sure it's not really related, but it kind of made me thought of all the crazy deals that the first Mario plus Rabbids game has been seeing on whenever I go onto the Nintendo eShop. I'm like, what's happening?
It's on sale all the time. It's on. If you want the physical copy right now, it's on sale on Amazon for $14 right now.
Wow.
And don't the physical copies come with the DLC?
I think they come. I think they repackaged it with the DLC last year for the Gold Edition. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's the same version.
Oh, okay.
But I know they did repackage it with the DLC last year for the whatever the normal price is. Stephanie, how excited are you for this game?
Oh, wicked excited! I can't wait. I love how they kind of take it towards like a space type setting, and there's a rabid Rosalina. So
oh my gosh, she's so sassy.
Yes,
they're getting ready to go.
Get up.
They're getting out. They're getting ready to go, and they just look back, and she's just sitting there in the chair, like kind of. She's like the emo rabbit, where she's like, I guess.
And then she just slowly slopes out of it, slides out of the chair. Yeah.
So something interesting. When I was writing the article for it, and I was trying to do a little bit more research to get as much info as I could, and I noticed that in the official image of what looks to be the box art later, it has like our red-eyed villains on one side, and then you have Mario and Rabid Peach and Rabid Luigi, and then you have that emo punk rock guy who has like a Buster Sword from Final Fantasy right there. But they also have Bowser right there, which makes me wonder if, again, Bowser and Mario will team up, and you'll have another like Rabid Bowser or something that will join your party as well.
I wonder if Bowser, like, maybe to unlock him, you have to beat him. Right? Maybe he's like the first boss, and then like you unlock him as a character moving forward. That'd be cool.
I would think that that's a big possibility.
Yeah. And then like the Rabid Luna Star. That's cool too. Yeah.
I love Mario Galaxy, so I love how they have so much of those vibes, and I did try to do a bit more digging. So much excitement, and there's hints to it being a little more, I wouldn't say fully open world like, but I guess being able to travel to different planets, and each planet, kind of like Galaxy, I guess, right?
This seems a lot bigger than the first game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wonder if that's why it took it'll be 4.5 years
About
since the
4
first
years,
game. Yeah. To come out, because it's a lot bigger, because the first game they said was only in development for 2.5 years. So the fact that it's taken them almost twice as long, especially because they didn't really have to develop an engine, right? Like they have the engine, they have presumably most of the assets, especially for the main characters, right? So, man, this game looks so good. It looks so good.
Yeah. Well, I think what they could do, like, what I would like to see from this is, like, I had nothing against what they did in the first one, but I almost would have preferred that instead of having the extra levels and extra things that you could do after the fact, that they would have just had more to the actual story, and just kind of left that, like, whole, like, doing things differently and going back and, like, having the different, puzzles that you would play at certain difficulties or whatever. Like, I almost would rather have more game, more, focused on the actual story, because like, as I think like everyone was when that first one got announced, everyone was worried, like, because we've seen the worst of the Rabbids stuff, where they can be very annoying and
No, they can't. They're awesome. The Rabbids are cool. I'm going to stand by that statement forever. I like when they just, like when Rayman Raving Rabbids came out, or like the weird Wii games came out. And they would just, like,
I'm talking more the shows and stuff.
Yeah, but
like
they would just be like walking by the camera doing normal things, and then they just stop and stare at the camera, and then they'd just be like, bah!
Yeah.
How did that go?
Blah!
But I mean, like, they did such a good job of, like, nailing the humor and stuff in the first one. Yeah. And, like, obviously in this trailer that we've seen, I think they did a good job in that. So, like, I'm not worried about any of that stuff anymore. Like, after the first one, they proved that they really can and make something fun that's for, all ages would enjoy. But, like, there's so much that I've never went back to in the first one where it was kind of optional. And I kind of would rather they just, like, keep it all part of a story. Make me want to go back to play these, puzzles.
Yeah.
That's honestly the only thing that I could think of. Otherwise, I'm all in. I mean, I've been waiting for this for years now for a new one. So the second I finished the first one, I was ready for another one.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I'm glad that the leak from this morning didn't really ruin the excitement.
I think it made people more excited, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so.
It's this game was special when it came out, especially because, like, I think a lot of people remember seeing the developer, not like crying, but he, tears of joy when his game was being announced on stage with Miyamoto. Like, how many developers get to say that besides people that work at Nintendo directly with him, right? Like, how many people get to say Miyamoto announced my game, and showed it off and showed off the cool weapons that we're using. And, I think that was a heartstring tugging moment for a lot of people, and really wanted people to, I think it made people want to like this game before it came out, and then when it came out and actually delivered on an experience that people enjoyed, I think, Jesse, you're right. As soon as you're done with that first one, you want that second one, and then that Donkey Kong DLC was pretty good too.
Yeah.
A little disappointed we didn't see any Donkey Kong in here, but I bet we did. I wonder if we get a little bit more at the Direct on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I expect we will.
Yeah.
It's just another, like, tiny bit.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, honestly, like, Mario, and like I think you feel this way too, Corey. Like, Rayman games are like some of the best like platforming.
Oh yeah,
you know,
Rayman Legends
like,
is phenomenal.
yeah,
Oh,
those
love
games
that.
are such amazing platforming games, and
Especially
and
the music
like
levels
to
where you have to
be,
like jump to the
yeah,
beat and stuff. Oh, so good.
yeah,
Don't play
and
those
to
games
be
without
what,
headphones. Those levels, by the way,
yeah,
because like I was playing one of the music levels without the sound on. It's
yeah,
rough.
yeah,
So
yeah, but just like I can imagine, you know, being. I'm sure there was a lot of inspiration from Mario when going into making, you know, that and being part of that project, and then now to actually be able to work, you know, side by side with the people who, you know, made the games that inspired them. It would be awesome. Yeah, like it's no, we just need a Rayman Mario crossover. Like,
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't gotten a third Rayman game, especially after the success of Rabbids, right, and the success of Legends on Switch. And I mean, I know it came out on Xbox One and PS4 and Wii U, but like it sold relatively well on Switch as well. And between that and Rabbids, like I'm kind of surprised they haven't revisited that. Although, I mean, it's not one of their giant money makers, but
yeah.
I don't know. That would be like if you added Mario to that game and like had some kind of weird universe crossover between them. I feel like that would sell better than most people think. So, anybody else have anything else to say about Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle? Nintendo's website says it's coming early next year, so I wonder, because Pokemon's coming out in January. This feels like it's going to hit that March slot where like Animal Crossing usually sits or sat last year, and I just kind of feel like that's the sweet spot for that, because Pokemon will be their big game for January. February they usually put out some kind of port, which I'm really hoping is the rumored Zelda ports that they're talking about, and then March usually is another new kind of IP, so or new game in a franchise. So I'm betting March. I bet we're looking at March.
March or April, probably. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about this Far Cry 6 DLC Season Pass, focusing on the villains of the franchise. So you have Voss, you have the character, the what's his name from 4, you have Joseph from 5, right, in the DLC. Each focusing.
Was it just those?
Yeah.
I know that there like 2 had the Jackal.
Voss,
It's
Pagan Min.
Yeah, Pagan Min was the villain from 4, and then Joseph from.
And Joseph, yep.
Yeah, it looks kind of like some kind of weird, trippy mind game version of the game, right? Where like you go in and like things can change on the fly. I don't know. It looks weird. It looks really weird to me.
Yeah. See, I'm all in, because I loved that just weird mind stuff in 5. Like, I just loved the weird, like.
Is that what it's
like
based off of? Does that stuff exist in 5? Is that what exists?
Well, in 5 there was a certain area where if you went too close, you would just all of a sudden you'd see your character's eyes slowly shut, and then you'd wake up and be knocked out somewhere. Like if you tried to get too close to the main base too early, like you would just pass out and so they would take you out and then like throw you somewhere and then to leave you wake up or something like that. But there was points where once you got so far into the story, you would like wake up and then you'd just be in this thing where you had to try to like shoot a whole bunch of guys and make your way out, like out of this like area, shoot your way out and get out. But you just like would wake up, like, because they would shoot darts at you that would knock you out. And yeah, there was a lot of mind game stuff with the one girl, I can't remember what her name was, but the drug stuff that you see them, like producing or harvesting throughout the game, would kind of make you start like hallucinating, and you'd have all these weird hallucination type stuff. And yeah, there was like what they've shown though in the stuff for Far Cry 6 though, it's like taking that to a little like the next level a little bit. So but there are some feels of 5 in it.
Cool. I think it's interesting when you take a game and you focus on the villains, right? Like you actually get to play the villain. I mean, I know there's games where you can be like the good guy or the bad guy, right? Like Mass Effect or Jade Empire or something like that. But you like when they actually put you in the shoes of the villain, I think that's a really interesting take on games, and there's not a lot of people do that. You know, I think maybe even in this day and age where maybe like bad people are like extra bad, you know what I mean? Like just the way that society views people in stuff. So for them to do this is kind of a really, I don't want to say it's a bold move, but it's a move in that direction in a weird way, and I kind of applaud them for that. I think it's neat. I think it's cool.
Well, it's like, you know, like even something like PsyOps, like
sorry,
honestly,
I wasn't laughing because you brought it up. It's just like that's a game I haven't heard about in a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, like honestly though, like, you know, like there are times where I just sit and think, like, you know, people in the real world, like when it comes to wars and things like that, like, you know, sometimes you got, if you think about it, like they're trying to do what they need to do to protect their country, and we're trying to do what we're trying to do. Like sometimes things can get blurred, you know, somewhere in between there. And you think about it and put it in your own situation, like they're just doing what we would do if we felt like we were in danger. Right. Like, you know, like, so like when games kind of go around things like that, or just like where the people you think are the good people end up being the bad guy, or, you know, like Braid. Like I still to this day, Braid is one of the all-time best games ever. Just like,
oh yeah, cause
thinking you're the good guy the whole entire time. You're Mario trying to save the princess. No, actually, you're a stalker, and she is trying to get the hell away from you. Like, I just love that.
When I heard that, I thought that was like the funniest thing. I was like, man, that's
it's so amazing.
And then you look at the character, and you're like, he looks like one of those guys. So
yeah, like when games do like think outside of the norm. Like I definitely love that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's taking it, you know, another step in a narrative. What makes a great villain is, you know, providing a depth to it. They're not just evil for evil's sake. Although it has its place, I gotta say. But
yeah,
you know,
if you can sympathize with the villain like on some level, I feel like you can see where you can sympathize with how he feels or why he's doing what he's doing. You know.
That's the whole entire like 2,000 episodes of Naruto. Like, here's a villain. 300 episodes later, this is why you feel sorry for him.
And you know what? You know, maybe it's something I'll have to unpack with my therapist. But I always thought video games was a great platform because I have to, you know, always be on my best behavior in real life, and I'm always trying to do the right thing. But video games gives me a way to be like, you know what? I just want to be an evil person for like 2 hours.
I want to punch that reporter in Mass Effect every time she comes up to me.
Yeah. Man. Good times.
Yeah.
Sometimes being bad feels good, guys. Life lesson. Man. All right, so anybody have anything else to say about this Far Cry DLC before we hit this? Probably I would argue one of the biggest reveals of the show. I think Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora was finally revealed. We knew they've been working on this game for, God, since the Division 1 was announced, I feel like, they've been working on this. Massive is the developer of the first 2 Division games. And look, I did not care about that first movie at all. Like, I was like, man, I'm so bored. This is like Fern Gully in the Last Rainforest in the Max, right? Like,
throwback.
Yeah. Man, Robin Williams is the Bat. R.I.P. It was good. That was talk about a classic movie.
Classic.
But this game looked absolutely phenomenal. I went to Disney World last year before the pandemic started, and the Animal Kingdom there has the whole Pandora that you can kind of walk through military camps, and then you can actually kind of walk up through the Blue Cat people's villas or whatever and ride the big flying dragon bird things and on a ride.
Using those technical terms.
I am.
I'm loving it.
Look, James Cameron.
Yeah,
he actually emailed me. We're friends. Jimmy. I call him Jimmy. Jimmy Blue sent me his script writing, and this is what it says: the Blue Cat people fly the dragon cat things that they control with this weird tail that comes out of their butts, and also I think they do weird things with these animals, but we're not going to get into in this first movie that is explored in the third movie. So check that out. But man, this trailer really made the game, this world appealing and looked cool, right? Like, Avatar is like one of those movies that's like, this is a cool concept, but I don't need it in a movie, and especially a 4-hour one, and especially like a 7-movie series, right? Like, but the world is cool, looks beautiful, the colors really pop. It really felt like the movie, right? And in a lot of ways, since we're so far removed from the movie, it actually looked probably better than the movie. And I know this was like a CG trailer or whatever, but this game looks cool. I want to play this game.
It's certainly had you could tell that there was a lot of labor of love from the developers, that it wasn't, just a movie licensed game. It wasn't just like, oh, James Cameron wants us to do a game to coincide with the release of the sequels. This looked like the developers wanted to explore this world. They wanted to expand on this universe, and they were given the freedom to do that. It'll still probably release around the time of the second movie, probably. But to me, it looked like it could stand on its own. We don't need anything else, and I would be just as happy. And I'm like you. I didn't, I watched the movie and then it was like, okay, I moved on. It never captured me like some other fantasy world, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or anything else like that. But
yeah,
I'm glad it's the only one.
I see. For me, like I actually did really like like this world. It just, for whatever reason, it did for me. But I'm much more of like I think it was sci-fi enough for me that I. Because when it comes to like Lord of the Rings, I've watched all those, but like I've just never really gotten into that kind of world. I'm not really into the fantasy as much as the sci-fi. So like this did it for me. And then like like you, Corey, like I had gone to Animal Kingdom a little while before you had went, after they had changed all that. And like I was telling you, like, dude, like the Animal Kingdom, like the Avatar stuff was so amazing.
Dude,
like,
the
at night.
What is it? Flight of the Banshees or something, I think is what it's called. That ride.
Get to fly on the back.
Dude, that ride was so crazy.
Was insane.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane.
Dude, the way they like hooked you in, and like that, like even like the thing you sat on, like when you looked down at it, it like looked like the thing, and like when they were like flapping their wings, like it felt like your legs were being crushed by the wings because like they were flapping, and like, dude, it was so crazy. That ride was so crazy.
Yeah, it was good. It was like, and like, man, talk about like heart pounding. Like those drops, like, I mean, even though you're like technically just sitting on something, when it's VR like that, it's just, and like you've got all the movement and the wind and things blowing on you while to make it feel like you're really doing it. It was intense.
It was so crazy.
It was so intense.
I know. Stephanie, what were you gonna say? You were starting to say something earlier.
No. Oh, no worries. I was just gonna say I'm glad I'm not the only one, because it's not like I didn't like it. I did enjoy Avatar, but I just didn't get what the major hype. And it's one of the highest grossing movies, right? Isn't it in the billions or something?
It is the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. But yeah, again, and not saying anything that's different, I am kind of this game has piqued my interest. I think it'll stand on its own. It definitely has the trappings of what would make an open world game, and I just don't see how it can't be.
I mean, judging by what they did with the Division, right? This feels like it's probably going to be some sort of weird loot thing where you go and upgrade your weapons. I wonder if this is going to have some kind of weird faction thing, where like you could play as like the military guys, or you can play as the blue cat people.
That's what I was getting from that too. I know it's not, but I was getting a lot of like possible World of Warcraft type of faction type of split. So you could play. I'm not. I don't think it's a MMO by any means.
Yeah,
but a single player type of scenario like that.
Yeah, there's two things that excite me about this game. One, if they do this right. Now, granted, maybe they don't. Maybe it's just its own thing. Maybe it's own standalone thing. But one is like it's on next gen consoles only, right? Like it's on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC only. So they aren't having to like accommodate the older consoles, right? I know that's a big argument right now where like, hey, why are these new games coming out on older consoles, and it's like a business decision, whatever, blah blah blah. But the Division is still going strong apparently, right? Like a lot of people like that game. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a sci-fi show on TV called Defiance, and they made a game that ran alongside the TV show. And whatever happened in that season of the TV show affected the events that happened in the game. Now, granted, both failed spectacularly, but that concept of, the TV show affecting the game and then what happens in the game affects the next season of the TV show was like a really interesting concept that nobody had ever attempted before. And they actually got through 2 seasons of the show, and the game went on for 5 years, and that actually, like, they pulled it off in a weird way, right? If this game comes out during the second movie, right, and it kind of runs alongside the second movie, and they're making, 5 sequels, supposedly, right? Like
27 sequels.
Yeah. But like they could do some really interesting crossover things with the movies and this game, where like the movie comes out, maybe there's some kind of event in the game that, crosses over with the movie, and like, hey, the characters from the second movie are now in the game as NPCs. They give you quests, you do missions for them, they go on missions with you. Maybe you try to save them, and like some of the missions actually influence some of the storytelling that moves into the third movie or whatever. Like, there's a really interesting way that maybe they could do that. I don't know if that's possible in this day and age, and like, games take so long to develop anyway, and they probably have some sort of roadmap. And I know James Cameron was involved a little bit with this game and sort of like fleshing out the world and making sure that this game was canonically correct. So I think that's really an interesting thing that they could possibly do with this game that you can't really do with a franchise if you're not planning it out, right? So I think it's cool.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And that would actually just make me watch these movies if this game is good. I'm sure they'll be on Disney Plus at some point, because Disney now owns everything. So,
well, if you think about it, it's kind of like, I mean, they could have technically did that with like Mass Effect too, where like how you like how things change in the game, you know, like depending on what you do, and then that those choices and that character, you know, transferred over to the next game.
Mhm.
You know, it's like taking that but to the next level, you know, where you're mixing it in with an actual TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be neat.
Yeah. And since it's the developers of the Division, I assume you can play this game by yourself or with friends, right? You could probably see other blue cat people running around the world, and you can wave to them and, you know, hook up tails to each other. I don't know.
I want that to be their official name, just Blue Cat People.
I know. It's so much easier than, what are they called? What are they really called? Logan, fact check that for me.
It's a V tribe or Kavi tribe.
Well, was it their tails or was it just their hair?
I don't know. It was something that
it
was
was
attached
their
to
hair.
them being inserted into something else that was attached to something else. So that's enough I
That's
needed.
kink.
Okay. No kink shaming on the Boss Rush Network there, Block.
No, I'm
Not at all.
praising that. There's no shame in that.
That and twerking grandmas. I think we've
Yeah.
definitely made a theme here.
And choking your chicken.
Dude, we talked about the goose choking and duck giraffe stuff yesterday. Don't worry, guys. Instead of a really thought out interview from Celeste this week, you're getting our ridiculous pre-show discussions on Friday. So. Oh gosh, that's gonna be super embarrassing. It's fine. It's fine. We're an open book here on Boss Rush. It's fine. You do what you need to do, right? LeRon, I told him it was a bad idea to swallow on his date today, and look, now he's got food poisoning.
Jesus! Even I would make that joke.
So, you know, it
Well, if I
happens.
gotta go before we get a.
Yeah, I mean, unless anybody really has anything to say about anything else that happened today, I think that this is gonna wrap it up, right? Like, I think Ubisoft was.
Yeah.
How would we grade Ubisoft today? Because I think Gearbox gets an F just because Randy Pitchford tried to do magic tricks and, you know, show some stuff. Even Kevin Hart was like, "No, dude, pass."
Yeah.
I think it's a B. It could have been an A had we gotten an update on Beyond Good and Evil or
That game's not
Skull and
coming,
Bones.
Skull and Bones is the weird one, I think, right? What else?
Because it should have been here if it's releasing next year, like we keep hearing.
I don't know.
I'm still intrigued in Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I checked
Out
out
of those two,
years ago on that.
Yeah.
yeah. Out of those two, though, like those are, like I think, yeah, I'm kind of the same. Beyond Good and Evil. If they were to show me something, I would be excited. But Skull and Bones, I honestly, I don't think I was really too into it when they first showed it.
The thing with Skull and Bones is like they were like, "Hey, we're taking the pirate stuff from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and making a pirate game finally." And I'm like, "Yes, Black Flag is the best Assassin's Creed game. I would totally play another pirate game." And they're like, "It's online only, and it's only the ship battles, and it's it's multiplayer, and you control a crew." I'm like, pass. Because that was not what I liked about that game. All right, well,
I'll just stick with Sea of Thieves.
yeah, right. Well, that's going to do it for night 2 of Boss Rush at Night, E3 2021. I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Shout out to Nick from WASD and Beyond. Shout out to CGG Dragon from Console Gaming Crew. Shout out to everybody in the chat who joined us. David was in there at some point. I want to applaud the writing team today for covering everything. It was a big day. I know tomorrow's going to be a huge day for a lot of people too, with Square and Xbox and Bethesda and who else is going tomorrow. WB I think is only
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
WB is only showing Back for Blood though. They said none of the DC stuff's going to be there. That's being saved for DC Fandom.
No Harry Potter?
Nope.
The new Harry Potter
Nope, they
game?
confirmed Harry Potter's not going to be there,
Aw,
which is
man.
another game I'm really excited for, and I'm bummed
Me
we don't.
too.
Can we?
Yeah,
Can
me
we? Can we? You know, wave wands at people together. Can we do a community Harry Potter game night when that game comes out?
That sounds kinky.
Yeah.
I've got some weird kinks, Block. Okay, maybe we'll save that for Boss Rush After Dark.
I've got my Severus
Boss Rush at night. So.
Yeah.
I've got my Severus Snape wand sitting over there that I got from the Harry Potter world. He was my favorite character.
I love him.
Yeah, and as an actor too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was so bummed that when he passed away. That sucked.
Yeah.
That day sucked.
Great casting. Oh.
Yeah. Awesome casting. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Remember, you can find the pod clips and the stories that were written today. You can find them on our YouTube page at youtube.com/BossRushGames. You can find all of the written articles that everybody did such a great job providing on BossRushNetwork.com, BossRushGames.com. Download the podcasts. If you are listening to this on podcast feeds, you'll hear it in the morning, obviously, and then you can join us live on twitch.tv/BossRushGames Live if you want to watch it live. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you see our content. Thank you, Block. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Jesse, for joining me tonight on night 2 of E3 2021 coverage on Boss Rush at Night. And we will see you tomorrow night to cover Xbox and Bethesda, Square Enix, the PC Gaming Show, and WB Games. Good night, everybody.
Good night.